guys, it's me, Butterfly Spirit 314. I don't know why. I feel like I just kind of want to let my hair breathe for a second. I don't know why. But I just feel like it. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh. I just threw my hair tie across the room by accident. So I didn't plan on doing that. Anyway, so guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience of taking my first ever introduction to aerial skills class today. So, in some videos in the past, I mentioned that I wanted to take I wanted to get into maybe doing like trapeze or whatever. And so I finally decided to go and take a trial class in the aerial skills. I was hoping they were going to do trapeze in the class, but they didn't end up doing it. But that's okay. So I'll tell you guys about my experience from start to finish and go from there. So I was debating whether or not I wanted to take up the class because I wasn't sure, but I finally decided to go give it a try anyway. I was like, well, if I've, you know, tried pole and I've tried chair dancing and I've tried, twerking and stuff, if I've tried these things, why not try out an aerial class? I could definitely give it a try. So I decided to sign up for it. And by the time I decided to sign up for it, there was actually like literally one spot left. So I got the last actual spot, which was pretty cool. So I booked it on this past Friday and booked it, got myself in the class. And basically, after that, I waited until today, and my class was today. So my class started at, goodness, it started at 1 o'clock. So I didn't know what the place was. So I went ahead and, of course, Googled the place and everything. And I was able to make it there quite easily. I did use like my GPS to get there, but I got there on time. So when I basically came into the building, what I found was basically I found a place that I wasn't expecting to. So I walk into this building, and then I go through this door, and then there's this huge room, brick room, and they have like different stuff. So they have like ropes and silks and all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, what on earth? Like, oh my gosh, this is like circus type stuff. Like that's what I was thinking when I like walked in. And I thought there was going to be like only 6 people in the class. Turns out, in my class, there was about maybe, let's see, it was probably about 10 people in my class, which was, and I was wondering to myself, like, okay, it's a big group. I thought it was only going to be 6 people, but 10 was just fine. It actually worked out. So when I got there, I actually had to get changed because they have like specific clothes you're supposed to wear. So you're supposed to wear tight fitting clothes. So that means like leggings and like a t-shirt. That's pretty much what you wear into the class and stuff. So got changed and then went back into the class. And when I walked back into class, everybody was sitting down on the floor, and they had these, like, there were these balls that they had on the floor, these rubber balls. And what you do is you roll your feet over them to get your feet ready for what what you're going to be doing with them. We also did a warm up as well. And I'm used to doing warm ups because before I do like pole or chair, we do like warm ups and stuff in the class as well before we get started. So I was confused about why we were warming up our feet because I'm not used to like rolling my feet as a warm up and then doing exercises. But hey, it was part of the warm up and I just went with it. So after that, we started off on the first aerial skill they started us off with was the silks. So the silks is basically they have like these silks suspended from basically from the ceiling and all the way down basically to the floor. And they had like, I believe it was like 5 different silks and they were of like different colors and stuff. And we basically went through doing different like different things on the silks. I did one of the things I was surprised we were going to get a chance to do was I got a chance to invert on the silks. I was trying to get a video of that, but my phone's just like literally stopped recording like right in the middle of it. But I did post a video of myself in class on the silks. I wasn't able to invert in video, but that's okay. I did invert in class though, so that was pretty cool. So inverting is basically where you are upside down. So your legs are going to be above your head, okay? If that makes sense. So in pole dancing, we invert and we are upside down where our heads are above our head. That's what we do. And I guess in silks, that's what people do too. So I got a chance to invert. And I actually was surprised I was able to do that because I remember my first ever like pole dancing class, like they like introduction to pole, they were like, oh, well, you know, they were trying to get me to invert. Like it was in like one of the later classes, but I was super scared. But I don't know, maybe I've just got become more confident or something. I can't invert in pole, but I was able to invert during like in this aerial class, which is really fun when we were doing the silks. So it was really fun to do. And what we were doing is getting used to the silks and stuff. And it was super cool. And I was a little scared when I was on the silks. And I'm glad the teacher was there to really help. The absolute cool thing about my teacher is that my teacher is actually a former pole dancer. So she actually like understands like the stuff that I do in my classes and stuff. So she was like, okay, so you're gonna do this. Okay. And she was like coaching me on what to do. She was like, okay, you're gonna do this. Nope, you're gonna arch your back. Nope, you're gonna kick up. Yeah, this is what you're gonna be doing, right? And you know, it was one of those things where I was very proud to be taught by a former pole dancer because it really meant a lot to have somebody who like actually understood like the background I was coming from. And there were a lot of people in the class. There was one girl, I think there was a girl who used to be a cheerleader, another girl who used to be a gymnast, but the rest of the people in my class, they had no experience. Me, I told the class I was a pole dancer, so you know I had experience there and stuff and everything. I noticed that the teacher really spent a lot of time focusing on me, specifically because she used to do pole and because I now do pole. So like we had that in common, which I really love a lot. And I just really enjoy the fact that we had the commonality, you know. It's like a vibe. I don't know if you guys understand, it's like a vibe. So anyway, so we basically, you know, did some fun stuff on the silks, inverts and stuff like that. And everybody really had a fun time and stuff. There were people taking pictures and stuff. There was one lady that was there. I think her daughter was in the class with us or whatever, which was totally fun. You know, it was totally fine, totally cool. So after the silks, we moved on to doing the Lyra hoops. So we did that. Now, I will tell you, the class literally flew by with the stuff that we were doing. Like it did. It was, I guess we were having so much fun, it just flew by. So Lyra was the thing that we ended up doing towards the end because the teacher thought that was most tiring. So Lyra is basically like, think about it being a hoop that is suspended a little bit, basically like It's basically suspended from the ceiling, and basically it's like hovering over the ground a little bit. And so basically we got to do some cool like tricks in the Lyra hoop and stuff. So I got to do what's called let's see. So first I got to do what was it called? First I got to do a straddle in the Lyra hoop, which was really fun. I got to do what's called a man in the moon. So that was fun. And then I got to do what's called a secretary sit. So those three things, like getting into those moves, and I want to kind of talk a little bit about each. So doing the straddle, because we did straddles on the silks, I feel like that really helped to prepare my mind and body for doing a straddle in the Lyra hoop. And the thing about the Lyra hoop when you're doing it is the Lyra hoop can like moves back and forth, and it can turn when you're in it. So like getting into the Lyra hoop, like it takes a little bit of adjusting to get into it, and it moves, because mine kept moving back and forth. Um, and also, like, I think it was just one of those things that, like, I really had to have the teacher kind of continuously, like, she had to, like, turn my hoop so I'm, like, facing the right way. Um, and so, it was fun, I'm going to say, to be able to do, like, to actually do the straddle. It was actually fun, but I feel like I was saying, like, the silks and doing an invert in that actually prepared me to be able to do a straddle in the hoop. Now, doing an invert in the silks, I feel like with that one and the silks, you feel like, you're literally upside down. So like the blood is like literally rushing to you from your feet to your head. So, it is important to be mindful of that. I did have a partner when I was doing the activities, when doing the soaps, and when doing the Lyra hoop tricks as well. And it was fun too. Funny enough, the girl who parked next to me, she actually ended up being like my partner in class. And everybody in the class had a partner. So we had a partner to spot us and make sure we were okay, as well as we had the teacher there too, which was super cool. So, so I would say that invert, definitely blood rush into your head. It can be kind of scary. Um, Doing it if it's like your first time and you're not used to it. Um, the invert, or like being upside down in the hoop, that is a little bit different. Same movements, but you're in a hoop and the hoop can move back and forth. And the thing is that it's important to kind of have help to really like kick your legs up, because you have to do a back bend into the straddle upside down. And doing that, I feel like I liked the hoop because it was more support than say like what the silks was in a way. So I thought that was like really cool and supportive. When it comes to like the man in the moon, that one was more like, it was more like your body is kind of inside the hoop, like you're kind of stretched out inside the hoop itself and stuff, which was fun. And I thought it was great. And then there's the secretary sit. So you actually go from the man in the moon to the secretary sit, and you're able to do that. The secretary sit is pretty fun. It is pretty like you're just like, I'm pretty badass doing this kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. Um, and I loved it. I did end up posting on my channel. I posted a few videos of myself, me being in the silks, me doing the man in the moon to the secretary sits. and then me doing the straddle. So I did actually show those on my channel. So like, if you guys want to see like what I did in my class, like you can definitely like watch my videos, my channel, Butterfly Spirit 314. You can just check out the shorts I just uploaded. And then you will actually be able to, you'll actually be able to see what I did in my class. So, or some of what I did in my class. I think what I might want to start off by doing is doing the silks. I think it will be fun to do the silks and stuff to kind of build more strength, which will help me towards pole dancing, which I think would be cool. And then I might do like Lyra. But yeah, overall, it was so much fun. The class flew by. It was very exciting, and I'm very happy that I did it. One thing I can recommend, if you guys do take like any kind of like aerial skills kind of class, please eat before you go, because I had an omelet before I went and I was full. And then I'm going to tell you, I burned off that omelet that I made like in the hour and 20 minutes I was in the class. And so now I'm like hungry again because I burnt off all the energy from the food I ate. So definitely it's important to eat. Also, if you're going to be taking an aerial skills class, please, please, please make sure you bring water. There was a girl in the class that brought like some kind of protein milk that she brought with her. So that is, that can be helpful too. I brought a bottle of water with me, and I'm so glad I did. So glad. Whew. So, and I'm tired because that class took a lot out of me. It really did. There's no experience required to do the class that I did. No experience required or anything. But the thing is that, all you have to do is just like show up and give it a shot. Don't let the nerves get the better of you. Just show up and do it, And I'm glad I did. And I have something new that I'm going to be doing. And I can't wait to explore them more. I want to explore Lyra, but I also want to explore the silks. Actually, I want to do both. When it got to the end of the class, like I told the teacher, I was like, I don't want to leave. She's like, well, that's good. She was like, oh, well, I'm looking forward to seeing you again or whatever. And she actually was super nice. And I really, really, really want to come back. I did not want to leave. I want to stay and play some more on the Lyra and the silks. But class was over. So I had a blast today and it was very fun. So ultimately, I do think I'm going to continue with them. We'll see when I get started. But other than that, I had a blast today. And man, I've had a whole blast this weekend. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Whenever you guys happen to check my video, I appreciate you all. Bye.